The attack is a right high kick. I counter with a left leg kick and a right punch and a left body kick. As I redirect the kick with my right arm, I step in between and counter with a left leg kick, a right punch to finish with a left body kick. I leave my left leg in front after my leg kick to make the right punch. After the right punch, I make the famous step in between to make explosion and power in my left body kick. Step backwards after your action in the basic position. Here I redirect a right high kick and counter with the same right kick. With the first kick, you can see I can't redirect it properly. You see I block it and I'll sweep it through in one moment. You can see that the step with my kick is not right, because I step straight at my partner. My kick has no power and I can't turn my body. So step to the left forwards so you can turn and put your whole body in the kick. The importance of takeovers or redirection is that you're the boss, in control of the situation. You decide where you put the kicking leg for a counter. The first takeover I do with the front kick. I can put it in the front by pushing it down and put it to the side by sweeping it through. This counts for both legs. You put him off balance with this movement for a moment. You can see I have to use a little force to put the leg where I want, because I don't want to pull his leg back to a good position, because I want to counter. Of course, this also counts for the roundhouse kicks. First of all, I block always with a double guard. Then you push the kicking leg down or sweep it through. The left kick is redirected with my right arm and the right kick with my left arm. Last words about the leg kick. Be sure you never step straight at your opponent, otherwise you can't turn your body. So step sideways towards your opponent and kick with your shin, not your feet. With the counters, you see I always turn my body from one side to the other side. Even only with a push or a punch to get distance and to be able to put good power in the kick or punch. To step in between is one of the most important movements before a kick, to put explosion and speed and power in your kick. Also with this movement you don't step straight at your opponent. With the takeover or redirections from kicks, you are the boss. You decide what's gonna happen, so you place the kicking leg wherever you want to counter. Have fun!
Long series of punching combinations are very rare in kickboxing, except if your opponent is having problems, for instance after receiving an 8 count, or when he's having conditional problems and doesn't have any defense. All other combinations are mostly a preparation for a kick or knockout and are mostly 2 or 3 punches. When exchanging longer punch combinations, it's important to always keep your balance in the center or middle of your body. If you are falling after your punches, you cannot make a combination, and therefore you won't have any power in your punches. Take a step with each punch you make to correct your balance. For a good punch, you should have contact with both legs on the floor at all times. And again, your balance should be in the middle so you can put your body in the best position. A good punch utilizes your mass, or the power of your whole body, and not just from your arm. Every punch is a combination of stepping, punching, and body mass. And again, make sure after hitting your opponent with a successful technique, you may be thinking, yes, great, I'm already there, but take some distance and back up and review the situation, and then make a step to finish the fight.
Cette classe dont parlait juste avant le combat Justin Ward.
The evasion of the left and right straight punches and the evasion of left and right hooks. The opponent strikes with a left straight punch to the face. This punch will be evaded by moving your upper body to the right. Strikes with a right straight punch to the face. This time we move our upper body to the left, so the punch will pass your face. Our opponent gives a left hook to the face. The punch can be evaded by bending quickly, so to speak, by diving under this punch, and to turn into the opposite direction of this punch. You can make yourself smaller by bending your knees to move under this punch. The same story goes for the right hook, but now only you turn into the opposite direction. You will turn to the other side under the punch of your opponent. It's important that your partner punches straight at your face while practicing. Make sure you have a good balance for moving your upper body sideways, in this case to the right side. It's from utmost importance to have always eye contact with your opponent. With the hooks, it's important to bend your knees in the right way and not to bow only your upper body. Look at your opponent and keep your hands at your chin. Now we are observing a real fight. Watch that this moment shows the evasion of a right straight punch. In fact, it's slightly different than the way we just practiced. During this match, I'm moving a little bit under the punch, but I remain in balance in order to be able to move away. Let's look at the evasion technique from behind. You can clearly see that your upper body has to move sideways in order to evade these punches. Direct straight punches can be evaded by moving your body to both sides. With the hooks, you can see that you have to bend your knees to turn your upper body under this punch. You have to turn in the opposite direction of the punch. You can see you have to stay in balance at all times in order to evade the punches and to return in the basic stand. Notice that it is important to bend a little in order to stand in a stable position for evading these punches. Again, stay in eye contact with your opponent. With the hook punches, your whole body has to move in order to evade these punches. In this close-up, we can see how the upper body has to be moved in order to evade the punches. In this slow motion, you can see how far you have to bend to evade the punches. It's important that also your opponent has a good balance when he is throwing the punches at you. If not, he will miss his target. If your partner has no balance, he will fall after punching, because he's missing his target. Now we see how to block left and straight punches. And also how to block a left and a right hook punches. We can see how my partner attacks with a left straight punch to the face, This punch is blocked by taking it from the direction of punching with your right hand. The right straight punch is blocked with the left hand, again by taking the punch from its original direction. Your upper body has to turn also a little bit. Now you see left and right punches after each other again. Again, you will take the left straight punch with your right hand and the left straight punch with your left hand. The left hook. This punch is blocked by pulling up your right hand beside your face, so the punch will hit the glass. The right hook. Now your left hand has to be pulled up beside your face. Again, the punch will hit the glass. Here you can see that the opponent is moving too, and steps in order to minimize the distance, in order to get a good basic position after he has placed the punch. Watch carefully. Your opponent is out of reach and has to move inwards to hit you. This is exactly what happens in a real fight. Now a hook punch is given, but I don't move away from this punch, but I move a little bit forward to intercept or block this punch. Don't forget to stay in balance while intercepting this punch. Now we will block the punches and counter with the same punch. Direct straight punches will be countered with direct straight punches, and hooks will be countered with hook punches. The left straight punch is blocked and directly countered by a left straight punch. You have to block the punch, and while countering this punch you also take a step to minimize the distance. The same situation applies with the right and left-right straight punches. For blocking a hook punch, turn your body a little bit to counter and stay in balance. These techniques is like playing a game. It's an action game of reaction, moving to and through, and returning to the basic position, and always keeping eye contact. Now we see how important it is to have a good balance. Make sure your balance is in the center. In this situation you can counter. Remember that if you are not in a stable situation, it's hardly possible to counter. Again, make sure you're in a stable position. From this position on, it's very easy to place a good and powerful counter. The partner attacks with a straight left and right punch. After blocking these punches, I am countering with a straight left and right punch, followed by a punch to the liver and a left hook. Left and right punches are blocked and are being countered with a left and right punch. In this way you are minimizing the distance and you can place a liver punch. After the liver punch, I'll take one step back and place a hook punch to the head. Now I return after this combination in the basic position. We see an action and reaction game by moving forward and backward from your opponent. By placing the counter with the left and right straight punches, your opponent will have difficulties with his side. He pays attention to the defense, and by punching to his head, his guard will go up. Now we are creating an opening for a liver punch and a hook. Remain in a good balance in order to make the combination. The partner attacks with a straight left and right punch. The counter starts after blocking these punches with a straight left followed by a right uppercut left hook, straight right punch and finishing with a left punch to the liver. Finally we come back in the basic situation. After blocking the left and right straight punch, you step forward with your left foot in order to minimize the distance, and at the same time you place the left straight punch followed by a right uppercut and a left hook. Right straight punch ending with the liver punch. Finally we have to return in the basic position. Now, we see that the combination of punches have been changed from head to body. It is very important that immediately after blocking the punches of your opponent, you place the counter with a left punch, so it's difficult for your opponent to see anything. By making a combination, throw in your body in your punches, but always remain in balance and finally step back to the basic position. Now you can see my partner attacks with straight and left right punches. These punches I block and I counter with straight right punch followed by a left uppercut and a straight right punch ending with a left hook. After blocking, you minimize the distance by countering with a straight right punch. By stepping forward one step with your left leg and turning your body, now give a straight right punch, ending with a hook and return to the basic position. Watch the rhythm of the punches. During the combination, I stay in eye contact with my opponent at all times. I can step back now in order to see if he's badly hit, or more in a general if he's in trouble or if he wants to counter. Now I can step forward or I have to block his attack. The partner attacks with a straight left and right punch. I block and counter with 2 times a straight left punch, straight right punch to the body, ending with a right hook. After blocking the punches of your opponent and countering with the double left punches, you force your opponent to lift his hands. Now there is an opening for the punch to the stomach. After this punch, the hands go down and the left uppercut and the right hook are logical. After this, take distance and keep your hands at your chin. Make sure that the double left punches are straight to his face. By placing the double left punches, take a double step forward to your opponent. Bend a little bit your legs by directing the right punch to the stomach in order to get as many massa as possible behind the punch. After this, the power has to be in the final right hook. Partner attacks with a straight left punch. Evade the punch by moving sideways to the right side. Counter with a straight right punch, followed by a left uppercut, a straight punch, ending with the left punch to the liver. Make sure you avoid the left punch and counter directly with a straight right punch, followed with a left uppercut, a straight right punch ending with a liver punch. turn your body during all the punches at these combinations. Pay attention, when countering, it will make a big difference in placing the punches high and low. To surprise your opponent, the time difference between attack and counter should be as short as possible. Again, pay attention to minimize the distance, your balance, and take a step back after you made a combination. The partner attacks with a straight right punch, evade the punch and counter with a liver punch, followed with a left hook, a straight right punch and a left uppercut, finishing with a right hook. My partner gives a straight right punch to the face. Evade the punch by moving your body to the left. The punch will pass your face, and during this I place a liver punch and a left hook. Move your body backward while giving a straight punch followed with a left uppercut ending with a right hook. Start slowly and increase your tempo if the combinations are improving. Be on time by evading the straight right punch and place the liver punch at the moment when his punch is still not finished. Punch the liver in an upward direction. If your opponent is moving backward as a result of your punches, you will follow him to keep a good reach at all times. Place the last right hook downwards. After the series, keep a certain distance. Your opponent attacks with a straight left, right punch followed by a left hook. I counter with a straight right, a left uppercut, a right hook and finally a left hook. Your partner attacks with a straight left and right punch followed by a left hook. I evade the left hook and counter with a straight right punch followed with a left uppercut, a right hook to finish with a left hook. Evade his attack as quick as possible and counter immediately. Because you are going from a downwards to an upwards movement while countering, there will be a lot of power and speed in the punch. Be careful during practicing. Start slowly. Please notice, while avoiding the hook punch, that you keep your balance at all time. Turn your body behind your punches. If your opponent takes distance, don't run or walk after him, but move step by step while punching. The partner attacks with a straight left punch and a right hook. I duck, and by this way I am evading the hook. I directly counter with a right punch to the body, followed by a left punch to the liver, ending with a straight right punch, a left hook and a straight right punch. Start with blocking your opponent's attack. His left straight punch, duck the right hook, and at the same time you have to counter with a straight right body punch followed by a liver punch. Then in one movement back to follow with a straight right punch, ending with the left hook and a straight right punch. Step back after your combination to review the situation. Bend your knees for evading the right hook in order to use a counter technique. Make sure that during avoiding the hook of your opponent, you step forward to minimize the distance between you and your opponent. In order to place body punches, during the rest of the combination, start slowing, moving upwards. Again, take distance after you have made your combination. This is a game of jabs and straight punches on the pads with a partner who is holding the pads. This is for punching with power, and that your partner can correct you while exercising. Your partner will be placed a counter now, and then in order to assure that your defense is okay, you also have to examine the movements on your feet. Your partner who holds the pads will stay outside of your punching reach. So every time that you are punching, you have to step forward in order to hit the pad, and to go back in order not to get hit yourself. Watch the counters which have been placed by your partner. Make sure that your punches are explosive, and during punching, lock your chin behind your shoulders, especially while training the straight punches and the jabs. Your partner with the pads has to check you constantly and also correct your punches and your movement of the feet. Don't stick on one place after punching, but move all the time. Your balance should be in the center. From this position it's easy to move back and forwards or to step aside. It's important that my partner keeps me busy at all times. By this way, I have to be alert. Watch carefully, it's like a game, but it's a very good exercise. You can see by even this training it's very important to step back in the basic position, take distance and review the situation. Watch the little steps, and I'll keep contact with my feet on the ground. Now you're moving around your partner, and at his command you start with a straight left and right punch. Keep always in good balance during this exercise. Your weight should also be in the center, not over your left foot, because then you will fall or walk after your punching. Exercise your punching techniques while moving forward and backward. If your balance is okay, it is possible to turn your body away to the left and the right side, and by stepping you will always have the advantage of having stronger punches and a better defense. You can see by the count of 1 that I start with 2 straight punches. By the count of 2 I'm following up with a straight right punch. By the count of 3 I also give the left hook. By the 4th count I'm finishing with a right straight punch. It's important that during a series of punches to move in and out, don't stand in one place. Again, your partner makes corrections. He corrects your stances, footwork and counters, now and then, with punches to the head. This training has to be exercised hard and explosive. If you have any problems by practicing this, start slowly. Again, by way of making little steps and having contact with the floor, you have the advantage of stronger punches and a better defense. We practice this exercise with power and explosive energy. With every punch we have to take a step to keep the right range between you and your opponent. Also, your partner is training in the same techniques while holding the pads. By taking step by step and moving back and forwards, holding the pads up high. After each series of punches you take distance again to make room for a new series of punches. This especially is important while moving backwards against an attacking fighter. By the count of 1 you start with a left and straight forward punch. The count of 2 you're finishing with a left hook. By count 3 you will turn in a right uppercut. And by the count of 4 we are finishing with a right straight forward punch. Keep the balance in the center. keep eye contact and step back in the basic position.
Changement de tactique chez le Hollandais qui se sert maintenant de sa jambe arrière gauche.
In this fight we can see clearly how important your footwork can be. In this case, in order to keep punching while stepping backwards. Remember to take small steps and keep your balance in the center.
Et changement de tactique chez le Hollandais qui se sert maintenant de sa...
You can see that I'm creating space by making a step by each punch, and I'm making while moving backwards, but I'll still keep power in my punches. This is only possible when your footwork is okay, so make sure you stay in the punch distance with your opponent.
Oh, c'est terrible. Le Polonais va être recompté et la fin du round va lui faire du bien s'il l'atteint. Kaman ne le quitte pas des... Deuxième reprise. Encore une droite. Et une autre droite. Oh, c'est terrible. Le Polonais va être recompté. Et la fin du round.
Make sure that you step every time when you're punching. Stay in balance and throw your body in the punch. This way you get the best power and massa in your punches. If you train these punches backwards, make as many space as possible, but still from a position what makes it possible that you can move your body forwards. By moving backwards, it's important that your upper body stays in balance and lean not backwards. By the first count of your partner, you'll start with a straight left punch. By the second count, you start with the left punch followed with the right uppercut. The third count we see the left punch, the right uppercut followed by a left hook. The fourth count we see the left punch, the right uppercut followed by a left hook and ending with a right straight punch. Again, these series techniques will be practiced as well forwards as backwards, especially for aggressive forward coming fighters. It's a good training method. If you start the series punches while attacking forward, you start off with a straight right punch. If you start punching backwards, you are stopping your opponent with a straight right punch. Make this punch a long punch so you have space for placing your uppercut. Again, notice that your footwork and balance and take a step to keep the distance. For the first count we see the straight right punch. By the second count we start with a straight right punch followed by a left uppercut. By the third count we see the right punch, the left uppercut and a straight right punch. By the fourth count we see now the straight right punch and finishing with the left hook. Again, train this forward as well as backwards. Make sure your partner who is holding the pads moves slowly forwards and backwards. By placing the first left hook, make sure you step with your left foot to minimize the distance. By the following series, throw in your whole body to create a maximum explosion of power with your punches. Notice that it is important that by every punch you make a step to obtain your balance. By the last series you make space by taking one step back. Now you're creating an idea by your opponent that he can start an attack. Then you catch him with a straight right counterpunch. By the first count we start off with the left hook. By the second count we see the left hook and a straight right punch. The final count, the fourth, we see the left hook, the right punch, followed by a left hook. After this we step back and ending with a right straight powerful counterpunch. Again in reverse, start the exercise with the left hook. After the left hook we followed with the right straight forward punch. By the third count we're finishing with one more left hook. By the last count we see the right punch followed up by a left hook. After this we step back and ending with a straight right powerful counterpunch. Make space by stepping back after each series, so you can step in to stay in punching reach of your opponent. Make enough space for your last 2 counters. After you are making the left hook, turn your body to maximize your straight right punch. This also makes it very hard for your opponent to place counter techniques. This will happen if you will stay in your old position and not turn your body. Again, keep in eye contact with your opponent at all times, also during this exercise. Keep contact with the floor with both feet and make enough space for your last 2 counters. Your partner, who holds up the pads, is very important that he tells you when to strike. He will tell this by way of counting or by way of moving his hands, as well as moving forward as backwards. Make your direct straight punches long, as a start for the series punching coming after the first punch. Train this exercise relaxed but explosive. Step with every punch you make and keep the right distance. By the first count, we see a straight right punch. For the second count, we see the straight right punch followed by a left hook. The third count will show the punch followed by the left hook and then a straight punch with the right hand. And the last count, we step backwards to finish with a powerful right straightforward punch. train this as well forward as backwards. Watch the step back and then come in with a counter punch with the left hook. Make space after training each series of punching before starting the next series, and turn your body again with each punch you make. Your partner, who holds the gloves or the pads for you, is the real opponent who slowly approaches you or steps away from you. Make sure that after the last series given, you create enough space by stepping back. Let your opponent come to catch him with a left hook. It's important that your partner makes an attacking movement if you are stepping back. Turn your right shoulder forwards to optimize your left hook. With every count we will add a punch, as we practiced before, only now we have a body punch after the left and right punch. By placing these first two punches, we will minimize the distance to place a perfectly liver punch. By the first count we see the left and right punch. By the second count the left and right punch followed by a left punch to the liver. The third count we will add a left hook at the end. By the last count, you see the left and right punch, the liver punch followed by the left hook, and we're ending with a straight right powerful punch. Notice the little steps in between, which minimizes the distance, to have a good position for placing your counter punches. Step in while punching the first two punches to minimize the distance and bring his guard up. Now we create an opening for the liver punch. By the liver punch and the left hook, you have to turn your body maximum to place 2 times in a row a powerful punch. So don't punch only with your arms. Bend your legs a little bit and turn in your body. By the first punches, I bring his guard up, so you can see this creates the opening for the liver punch. Your partner starts with a straight left and right punch followed by a left hook. Dive under this hook to counter with a right punch and a left hook. After your partner throws the left-right punch and the left hook, we dive under this last hook. Punch to counter with a right straight punch and a left hook. Be on time while avoiding the hook punch. The power from your counter comes from your legs. Make sure your partner gives a real hook punch to your head. By this way you really have to avoid this punch by diving under the punch. Always turn in the opposite direction of your opponent's punch. By this way the punch goes over your head and your opponent will be off balance. Now you attack with a right uppercut and a left hook. Your partner counters with a right hook. Now I will avoid this hook by diving under the punch and counter with a right and a left punch to the body. This is a nice combination when you're in a close combat situation. You start with the right uppercut and follow with the hook. By this moment your partner will counter with a right hook to your head. By diving under the punch and making at the same time the right body punch and ending with the liver punch. While turning in the opposite direction of your partner's counter, the body punch will have maximum power and will be very effective. When you are diving and turn under your partner's hook, you bend to your knees, but you will keep the balance in the middle. You don't stand straight by giving the two body punches, so stay low for more massa in your punches. You attack with a left uppercut followed by a right hook. Now your partner counters with a left hook. Again, we avoid by diving under this punch, countering with 2 body punches after we take 1 step back and finishing with a straight right punch ending with a left hook. This is exactly the opposite of the last combination we practiced before. Again, these techniques only apply by a close combat situation. By countering his left hook by diving under his hook punch, we are in the ideal position to counter with the 2 body punches. Again, stay low while punching to the body. You can see the secret of the explosion in the punches comes from turning your body. First elbow is like a circle movement from an upward position. The round elbow technique is a circle movement coming from the side of the head. The upward elbow between the defense of your opponent. And the downwards elbow coming from above to the back of the head of your opponent. During your step forwards, your elbow makes a circle movement and comes from above your head. At the same time, tick your opponent's hand away from his guarding position and land sideways by a circle movement your right elbow. It's the same with the left elbow, only you step in with your left foot. The elbow techniques through the middle of the defense upwards through your opponent's defense. Left we do the same, but with the left elbow. Elbow from upwards position downwards. Grab your opponent behind his head, pull him down, and with your right elbow make a downwards movement. Make sure that your whole body is behind your elbow techniques and not only your arm. Taking a step with each elbow is very important. As with a punch, we need to minimize the distance between yourself and the opponent. And make sure that the hit with the elbow is with the very end of the elbow and not your underarm. elbow techniques, we block with our underarm. If you see the elbow coming, try to interrupt the strike by pulling up your underarm. Don't wait for the elbow try to break his attack before he can complete his technique. Now we can see clearly how important it is to interrupt an attacking elbow strike of your opponent, because the power is out the strike. To block the elbow strikes coming from above, you have to put your underarm sideways for your head. And while attacking with a sideways elbow, we block to keep our underarm beside our head and turn a little bit our body in the strike. By the elbow striking coming from the front, we also turn our body a little bit, and again we put our arm for his strike. My partner attacks with a straight left punch, which we block with our right hand and we counter with a left elbow. When the partner attacks with a straight right punch, now we block this with our left hand to counter with a right elbow strike. When blocking your partner's left punch, we immediately step in with our left leg forwards to your partner, and at the same time we start our counter. The elbow technique from an upward position going downwards. Make sure you minimize the distance. Don't wait too long. We can see clearly that the technique is one movement. Take a step and direct the elbow technique. By the attack of your opponent's straight right punch, you defend this by blocking tick with your hand this right punch to the inside. Immediately step forward with your left leg. Now turn your body in this ideal position to give a perfect and powerful elbow. The opponent attacks with a right hook. By blocking this punch, we immediately step into place a sideward elbow strike. Now the opponent attacks with a left hook. Now we act the opposite as before, we block and make a left elbow strike. In a close combat fight, your partner attacks you with a right hook punch. Block this punch on your gloves and stand in balance. Step in and strike the sideward elbow to the face. When the partner strikes with the left hook, I step forward to my opponent to interrupt and block his hook punch. When you block your opponent's hook punch, you first turn your body to step after this to your opponent to place the elbow strike. So first block and then strike. Let's see how this applies in a match. In this situation, balance is the most important factor. Watch careful. I'm faking my opponent with a front elbow to step in and attack with a turning elbow. I am blocking a low kick from an aggressive forward coming fighter. I step back and move forward again and give an elbow strike from the side. Watch again how the little step backwards, creating enough space to give a powerful elbow strike. We show an attack with an elbow technique with a punch to start this combination. Attack with a left straight punch, so you disturb the side of your opponent and minimize the distance. After the punch, take one more step and strike with the same arm, a left elbow strike. Placing the elbow after making two steps. One big step we take by placing the right elbow strike. After you attack with the first punch, keep your glove in the face to the surface side. At the same time, turn your elbow from an upward position downwards. Make sure you turn your whole body. Attack with a straight left and right punch, follow with a left hook, ending with a right elbow. Attack with a straight left right and follow with a left elbow strike through the center. You minimize the distance between you and your opponent by attacking with a straight left and right punch and a left hook to end. Follow with the right elbow coming from the side. Take notice, I take two steps while punching and place the elbow strike after the action, return to the basic distance. To get maximum power and massa in your elbow strike, turn in your body the right way.